All right, so I hit the live button, and the little eyeball icon is up, which means that we're live on. Yeah, we're live on Matt Green at Glocker Real Estate. We're also on YouTube at Porchcast Pottstown. Those are the two platforms that we're on. For watching live, I would say that Facebook is probably the better platform to check us out if you're going to watch the show live and interact with the show. And then YouTube is the better platform if you want to go back and watch previous episodes. Or we have a lot of people that will tune in for a little bit, and then once they get back to wherever they're going, they'll tune back in. So I would say that if you're doing that, go to YouTube. Like if you're going to watch it later on, go to YouTube. If you really want to get into how the show actually works with the live interaction and being able to chat with people in the chat box and have comments go up on the screen and all of that, Facebook's your better platform.
Gotcha.
The problem that I've been having is that we still have people that struggle on how to find the show. Like it's mostly our older watchers, but they still struggle on how to actually find the episode. So at some point in time, I'd like to get somebody who has some teaching ability and some technical ability to maybe we can make a tutorial video and post that up on somewhere on Facebook or YouTube, and people can watch the tutorial about how to find us.
And how to set up, I believe you could set up a notification that says, hey,
yes,
when this starts, you get a little thing that lets you know, hey, we're started, come tune in.
Yeah. I just don't know how to do that. You know what I mean? I don't know how to explain it because people have different devices. People's devices are set up differently. So it's kind of hard. Let us know that you're out there and watching. I did get a late start on what's going on because I left my computer up at the office and had to drive back for it. So we're getting a little bit of late start to the show.
I was getting thousands of texts.
Were you?
Where
are you?
What is happening? But people want to know. I'm sure they were hopefully they didn't give up and they tuned back in now. Check it out now.
Right. So tonight on the show, we have Matt Moyer from Pottstown School District. Matt Moyer is an award-winning principal, a published author, podcaster, sports fanatic, dad, teacher,
college professor.
College professor.
Yes.
I'm convinced that there are people in this world that get more hours in a day, and you, Mr. Moyer, might be one of those folks.
It's about balance. It's about balance. I try to balance what I'm doing and do. I'm not going to say you never work a day in your life if you find what you're passionate about, but I would say the same thing I tell kids all the time is you got to find things you're passionate about and enjoy doing, and that's the good stuff. You'll get paid enough if you do that. And so being a principal in Pottstown is extremely rewarding. Something I'm passionate about. It takes a lot of time, but it's important to me, and I choose to stay in Pottstown because it's important.
Right.
It looks like our camera has just fallen.
I hate that. That it's that tripod. It sucks, and I need to get a new one.
Yeah.
So while I do that, we're actually still on camera, believe it or not. I'm actually going to set up a different tripod. So, but here's what I want to encourage people to do, and to stay with us. It's only going to take me a couple of seconds to get this camera situation straightened out. But while I'm doing that, if you could just start getting into some of the new things that are going on inside the Pottstown School District. It seems like between the end of last year and the beginning of this year, there's a lot of changes, staff changes, there's some programming changes, there's some changes with the lunch program. So if you just want to kind of freestyle your way through what you're aware of and bring people up to speed, I would appreciate that. And in the meantime, Terry Fetterman helped us out with the camera. So let's see. To do that.
So I could do a little of that. So,
yeah.
I think the biggest change that I'll talk a little bit about, and I think we for those who tune in next week, you'll get more information, is at the Pottstown Middle School. So obviously, I'm at Rupert Elementary School, so I am, as I like to say, Rupert-centric. That is my main focus. But I know a little bit about what's happened in other places. So the middle school has undergone some big changes. Mr. Hostetler, who was the principal there for a number of years, did a really good job, has moved on to a different school district, and we hired a great principal named Hector Wangia. And Mr. Wangia will be here with us next week to tell us in more detail about the middle school.
So he is the secret guest that I was promoting.
Oh,
so why don't you? No, that's okay. Why don't you repeat it? So next week you're going to be here again co-hosting because Amy Wolf is in Scotland. So you're the backup co-host to Amy, and you're bringing with you
Mr. Wangia. So he is the head principal at the middle school. So newly hired, coming to us with some experience from some other school districts. I was fortunate enough to be on the group that helped hire him. So I'm excited about him being here and talking about all the things they're doing at the middle school. So the model has changed at the middle school. I won't pull any punches. There certainly have been some concerns about the middle school. And the district is saying, hey, we hear you. We're going to try some new things to address concerns. And so what they did was they went to a house principal model. And Hector can tell you better than I can about it. But what I do know is that we have a head principal, who's Hector Wangia, and underneath him are 4 house principals. So each grade level has a house principal that will follow them through their 4 years, 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th grade at the middle school.
Okay.
And that principal will, be able to build relationships and rapport with those students. So the 5th grade principal this year will be the 6th grade principal next year, and the 7th grade principal the following year, and the 8th grade principal the following year. Okay. Likewise with some of the guidance staff and so on. So really building a rapport and relationship with those kids to get to know them and do the best they can for them as they go through. So each grade level will have that principal, and then when you get to 8th grade, you cycle back through to 5th grade the next year. Okay. And then Hector is that building principal. So he's instituting the vision for the entire building, working with his team to keep them moving in the direction they want to go for continuous growth. And so, I'm excited to hear from him next week a little bit more detail about what's been going on, because I know just that little bit of detail about it, and I know the importance of relationship building. It's all about relationship building and lots of things, whether it's in business like you, with selling homes, or in education, building relationships with the students, with the teachers, with the families, all super important. And this kind of model will help with that for what's going on at the middle school.
And so earlier in the day, I was in a meeting for roughly an hour related around some of the services that are provided to the residents of the borough of Pottstown. And there is a lot of work going into trying to get people, as they come into one organization or another for assistance, getting a holistic look at the need of that person, and then getting them plugged into the right resource within the community to take care of the issues that those people are experiencing. So I could see how that house model is going to work, because those principals and guidance counselors are going to know a little bit more intimate detail about the kids within their group, right? So if a kid pokes his head up and needs a certain service, those people then could go out into the community, find the right service, and get that person plugged in, right? Is this the model?
Yeah, this absolutely. And that's what we do in schools today, and they're going to be able to do that, like you said, when you get to know the family, and get to understand what the circumstances are, you can help them connect with the right places. And one of the things, of the many things that make me proud to be from Pottstown, is that is what we do in our schools. It's important to us. There are other schools, I won't name names, that I don't think are as on top of that. That's so critical, we know, to the success of children, is connecting their families with the resources that they need. And just kind of segue a little bit into like the elementary schools and some new things. One of the things that I am really excited about our elementary schools are, for the first time ever, and I say ever meaning this is my 18th year in Pottstown as a principal of Rupert Elementary, we have elementary guidance counselors for the first time.
Okay.
When I got here, we had part-time guidance counselors, and then due to budgetary constraints, they went away. And we had school psychologists who served a dual role. We now have a guidance counselor at every elementary school that now can help do those things that we just mentioned, to help connect families and build rapport and relationships with families that we at a higher level than we've ever been able to do.
Yeah.
And the commitment of the district to say, we get it, this is important, and we're putting our resources into this for our kids and for our families. They've needed it. The effects of COVID has certainly had an impact on kids, and having a guy, I'm super excited about it. Our guidance counselor's name is Kayla Reeder. She's excellent. I'm excited to have her as a part of the team, and she's jumped right in the first couple of weeks and is doing an amazing job.
Right. So, my hope, and, since we're talking open and honestly, my only concern is that we know for a fact that within the nonprofit world, where a lot of these services in Pottstown are provided from, there's a lot of turnover, and a lot of these nonprofit organizations need help. And it's just going to keep going. It's just I'm going to have to take a break and set the camera back up the right way.
Thank goodness for good friends who are trying their best.
They're trying their best to help us out. I got to get rid of that damn tripod. It's dangerous at this point. Diane Cherry Crum says her brother moved with his class for about 3 years a long time ago. It was the best thing for those kids. She thinks that Springford School District might already do this program that you are familiar with.
They have, and I taught at Springford a long time ago now, but their intermediate school, has a number of grade levels, and I think they may have some house principals in that realm. I don't know exactly, what they're doing there, but it is a model that's not exclusive to Pottstown. It's not something that only Pottstown does. There are lots of places that employ this kind of a model. So it's a good thing. Like we said, we know the value and the importance of relationship building, and that is going to be a big benefit to our middle school. So one of the things that good educators do, and I think that lots of folks would say this, is we're not inventing things. We might be reinventing it or borrowing from other places that are doing things in a successful way. So Matt is struggling with this camera right now. The good news for everyone watching is, as I've been reminded, I have a face that's made for radio now. So me not on camera is probably a good thing for the show, right? So while he's still struggling with the tripod, let me tell you a little bit about some other things that I know are going on in the Pottstown School District. If you didn't see it, the Pottstown Foundation, which is a huge support system for high-touch medical display table with software that helps with 3D for the human. I don't know much about that. That sounds like some insane technology that the high school now has for their health tech program, and it sounds like an amazing thing, courtesy of the Pottstown Foundation, all the people that help support the foundation. Which, if you don't know about the Pottstown Foundation, Joe Rasevich, who is housed out of the administration building, would be happy to talk more. He's the director of the foundation and does a great job. He's watching? All right, Joe. I didn't know you were watching. I'm saying good things about you because you're a good man doing good work, and does a great job of supporting lots of things in Pottstown, not just this program. I'll give a plug for that. The foundation has been incredibly generous to not just this kind of a table software, but lots of things. Whenever we ask for things that directly support kids, he does everything he can to help make those things happen. For us at Rupert, where I am, back pre-COVID, when we were doing field trips, he helped us with a lot of those things. He supplied money for our library and our art department, and awards and a lot of other great things. So, Joe, if you're listening, thank you to you and the foundation for the work that you do. And again, folks, if you don't know the foundation, you should get connected with them, because they do a lot of great things to help the school district. So, because as I mentioned, Matt, I'm Rupert-centric, I'll talk on and on and on about Rupert more than people probably want to hear. I want to give a shout out to the amazing teachers from Rupert. I don't know if there's any listening today, but we have the greatest teachers in Pottstown. I really believe that. And of course, because I'm principal at Rupert, I think we have the absolute best there. They do incredible work. They started out the school year this year with some new programs. One of the new programs we have in kindergarten and first grade is a new reading series called Foundations. And they're plugging away and doing their best with a brand new series. And that's district-wide. That's not just at Rupert. But that series, in conjunction with some other materials we have, is really, we're looking to up the ante on using what's the latest and greatest, best research-based programs.
Right.
Which is something that, when you and I went to school, Matt, didn't really exist.
Right.
And what education is today is a blending of what I would say is the art and the science of teaching. So there is the science of teaching, which these new programs are based on best research and best practices. And we're doing a great job, I believe this in Pottstown, of getting research-based programs. And then the art of teaching, which is great teachers. And I'm a big believer that if you take great programs and great teachers and put them together, you can get some really good results.
Yes.
And, even though it's hard to find staff these days, we don't settle for any old teacher. We hire the best teachers
that you can get. Right.
Yeah. And they do great work. They really do. And they do important work. And I'm not going to say more important than the other schools, but I think their work sometimes is more challenging, and they rise to the challenge because they love our kids in Pottstown. And that's why they stick around. And I say that all the time. The reason I stay in Pottstown is because I love the kids, I love the family, I love the families, and I love the town. And that's why the teachers do too. And we're excited about that Foundations program in kindergarten and first grade this year across the district. So shout out to kindergarten and first grade teachers for that, because that's not easy to do. You get used to a new series, and then or get used to a series, and we throw in a new one, and all of a sudden you got to relearn it. It's not easy. So that's what's happening in curriculum-wise with our school as well. What else can we say about?
I don't know. I'm getting somebody saying that they can't hear. So if you can't hear us, please just say something else or put something else up on the screen. But I can see on my stuff that we are having a sound return. I am having a problem with the camera, but at the end of the day, this is a podcast. What we're saying is much more important than what you're going to see. Diane Cherry Crum was talking about, I wonder if a parent group that could be on corners around the 4-block radius of the middle school. And I know, Ray Morey's saying he can hear us now, so we're not worried about that. I think that David Charles with the Strive Initiative has been working to get more and more parents and youth mentors involved at the middle school. If someone is interested in getting involved with the middle school or monitoring these groups of children after dismissal or before school or coming into lunch and mentoring the programs, they should get in touch with Dave Charles at Strive. The short answer to Diane Cherry Crum's question is yes, that is happening. That is happening. But Dave needs more volunteers. I know that he teamed up with Jim Franey, who is doing a lot of work through his Bulldogs program, which was a group of dads that were participating in the school. And what Jim decided to do was merge his program with Dave's program through Strive. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a link to the Strive initiative in the chat. If you're interested in getting involved in the middle school as an adult youth mentor, please reach out to Dave Charles at Strive Initiative. I'm going to put the link up in the chat.
Yeah, David is doing amazing work. He's a guy that I went to school with. We went to high school together. And he is doing a lot of great work, along with a lot of other awesome volunteers at the middle school. So thanks for highlighting that, Matt. If you're interested in volunteering and getting involved, we've got opportunities for you all over the place, and the middle school is a great place. And all of those mentors, I know they meet with kids at lunchtime and things, and they're doing a lot of good work there. So, David Charles, definitely a good man, dedicated, committed to Pottstown, and right now doing a lot of good things at the middle school.
I put that link to Strive Initiative up on the screen. It's really easy, folks. striveinitiative.org. I found it by going onto my Google search tab, and I put in the words Strive Initiative or Strive. One of the first returns that came up on Google was Strive Initiative Pottstown. You click on that link, and there's a big smiley face, which is Dave Charles looking right back at. I literally found it in 3 seconds. If you want to get involved, send people over there to Strive if people are interested. If the community is interested in getting involved in what's going on at the middle school. I know another one, and Heather Moyer Daly will be very upset if I don't mention this, the Pride After School Program. You want to talk a little bit about the Pride After School Program?
I mean, it's a program that's funded through a 21st Century Grant, which we've had for a long time at Pottstown, and again, focused right now mostly on the middle school. I know a little bit about it because one of my teachers is heavily involved. Lori Gresko is one of the people that leads that program, and they have a ton of different opportunities right after school at the middle school for kids to be involved in that are really different things that kids might not otherwise be able to be involved in. Obviously, first and foremost, we know that after school hours for kids at that age can be a challenge when parents are still at work and keeping them engaged in good, positive things. So the after school program does that. There's all kinds of things that the kids can do, from kung fu to a walking club, which another one of my teachers I know at Rupert, Mrs. Ritchie, Shannon Ritchie, helps run. It's actually based on some other programs, Matt, that they actually walk and listen to podcasts at the same time. There are set podcasts that are, specifically targeted for middle school kids. And so it's a healthy opportunity and a chance for kids to listen and get engaged in good content. That's one of many programs that they have. They have different art programs.
There's an engineering program. My kids, I don't know if they still have it, but my kids did the environmental science program. There's a list of stuff that the kids can pick from. And Matt, how much is this going to cost a family here in Pottstown to get their kids signed up for Pride?
It has cost them $0. And it's all funded not through local tax dollars either. This is a grant money, so it's not like Pottstown School District has to put this money out. It's grant funded and it costs parents $0 for their child to be involved in that program. And opportunities that are, I would say, really hard to come by, that especially for free, but it's hard to come by, period, but hard to come by that don't have a high price tag.
Right.
Go out and try to find a kung fu program, for example, for your child to be involved in. You see how much that might cost. Or STEAM.
Right.
Art clubs, engineering, as you said. So all those things are all available right after school, and the kids love it. Love being involved.
Yeah.
It's a lot of fun.
I just read a post on Facebook today where a kid missed it for some reason. There was a miscommunication between the mom and the kid was like devastated that he missed his engineering program. Apparently there's a bus too that's available for transportation. I don't know about all those details, but what I did do is in the chat on both YouTube and Facebook, I put up a link to Pottstown Pride After School Program. So if you want to learn more about it, click on that link after the show, and it'll take you right over there, and you can learn more about what's going on. This also brings us to another segue. We likes, shares, and subscribes here on Porchcast. There's a little like button. There's a heart button. While you're watching this episode, there's no regulations that says you have to hit that like button only one time. Light the screen up like a Christmas tree, man. Light it up. If you want to hit that heart button 20 times while you're listening to us, go ahead and do it. What that does is it sends signals to Facebook to show our show to other people who might be interested in hearing what we have to say. So please like the show, share the show to your news stream. All you have to do is, while you're watching the show, hit the share button, just like you do when you see that really cute cat video that you want to share with your niece. You hit share and it goes onto your page. You can do that with the live stream here on Facebook. Share that over to your page so that people who are on your friends list can find out what's going on here in Pottstown. Thought I'd throw that public service message out while we're chatting.
Well, and it's a good message, not just for the show, but for people to know, like, there is a never-ending list of stuff going on in Pottstown.
Oh my God.
A never-ending list. This little town does a lot all the time. I mean, every night of the week, lots of nights of the week, and every weekend there's something going on positive in Pottstown for you to get involved in and go check out.
Right.
and I, again, I just think that we do a lot for a little town, a lot more than a lot of other places, but there's a lot to do, and you want to get the word out to people about that, and also get the word out to dispel the myths out there, because Pottstown is a great place with a lot of great things going on.
Right. This also brings us to another public announcement that I need to make. Tonight we are live at Pub. You're probably hearing a lot of noise going on behind us. We have a pretty healthy crowd enjoying the food and drinks here at Pottstown United Brewing Company. Remember, folks, Pottstown United Brewing Company allows us to come down here and take a 4-top table from them on Thursday nights. It would be nice if you came down here and spent a little money at Pub in order to help us pay the cost of our, I don't know, what is it?
Well, I don't know. I mean, you take up a table all night. What does that cost of business?
Who knows? So you can help offset that by spending some money here locally at Pottstown United Brewing Company. We're down on High Street, the 200 block, right across the street from the Very Best. Everybody seems to remember or know and love the Very Best. So if you want to find Pub, go to the Very Best, look right across the street. You can't miss it. Also, please put your comments up in the chat box. Just like Diary and Cherry Crumb is doing, Joe Rusevich has done, some other Ray Amori has done. Please let us know your comments. The show is so much better when we can get some audience participation going. So please don't forget to do that. Next week, we will be here at Pub. We're exploring some opportunities of having the show at the new Southside Social Club, which is being opened up by Vance Jaffe. That's where the old Gold used to be, at the corner of South and South Charlotte. In our younger days, we used to go in there and shoot pool and drink beer because Eric Fisher was a bartender there. Do you remember Eric?
Yes.
From way back in the day?
Yes, I do.
Yeah, so we used to go in there and drink beer at Eric Fisher's bar and shoot pool. It's the bar that at the corner of South and South Charlotte. Vance Jaffe from High Street Billiards, also from Pottstown Cash Traders, has opened up the Old Gold, now Southside Social Club. If you want to learn more about Southside Social Club, hit up Vance Jaffe on Facebook. I'll put a link to his page and hit him up. $200 for the year. They're going to have bartenders. They're working on getting food, and it's an adult atmosphere where you can actually go and have a conversation and a nice drink with somebody after work, or when you're before you go to a show at Rivet, or before you go out and hit the town on Pottstown. So we are working with Vance on taking the show over to Southside Social Club. Seems like a good opportunity for us to expose another business here in the downtown.
News to me. That's the first I've heard of that.
Yeah, it's going to be nice. Let me see if I can find some information about that. And then, is there anything else that you want to cover? Like, what's the highlights? I did put up a link to Rupert Elementary School, so people can go find out more about the school that you are on. Are you still doing the YouTube stuff?
I have some. It hasn't been as active since during COVID times. I spent a lot of time on YouTube. I do some. I need to get back to be honest with you, Matt, a little bit more. One of the things that's really important to us is engaging our families and engaging our parents. And as a district, that's an initiative all the time, but this year more so than ever is engaging all of our parents. And I'm a big believer that Facebook, YouTube, other social media outlets is a great way to engage folks with what's going on with short little segments. You got to keep it short. No one's in today's world, people don't sit down and watch a half-hour video with a talking head, like I like to say, me standing on the screen. But I do try to put a consistent message out. I need to get back to doing some more YouTube stuff. Our social media with our Rupert Facebook page and our Rupert Instagram page and our Twitter feed is pretty active. I make it a goal to post an average of at least one a day. And some days there's a lot more than that. When school started, getting out there and taking pictures of all the kids and loving to see them back. It feels like back to normal again for the first
Yeah.
time in a long time.
In like 3 years, right?
Yeah.
So here's one of the questions that I was going to ask you, because I asked you this when you came in right after we went back to school, coming back from COVID. And my question to you was, what challenges, I was trying to ask you to look into the future and foresee some of the challenges that this COVID hit your abilities to reach the kids and teach the kids, right? So now you've done it for a year. So do you want to like give us a recap on what you think, like your predictions compared to what reality was?
So, yeah, I mean, the reality that we are seeing in school today is particularly for some of our younger learners who, during COVID, had to do virtual learning in their very formative years of forming the basics of reading and writing and math. And so we're seeing that effect now with kids in second grade, and third grade, and fourth grade, where, you know, there's a lot about the research about brain development and kids learning how to read and so on at an early age. And when you have to spend kindergarten, or part of kindergarten, or first grade, which is a very formative time learning to read, on a computer,
yeah,
some of your building blocks just didn't get there the way we had hoped they would. So what we're seeing is, you know, students that are struggling more than usual, and more students number, with particularly reading, but not just reading, because they missed some of those building blocks. So in reading science, one of the first things you have to do is, it's called phonemic awareness. And the way I always remembered it was phonemic awareness you can do in the dark. What that means is can you hear the sounds in a word? No print on the page. Phonics is the print on the page and all the things that go along with phonics. Well, we have kids who are having trouble with those building block skills that are now older, and where we would expect them to be now starting to read for meaning or put sentences together. They're struggling with that because they missed some of those building blocks in the early years. So that's the side effect, and what we see more so in children that come from poverty, which a lot of our kids come from poverty in Pottstown, is those struggles that they're having, more so than maybe some of their other, similar age students. So that's been a real challenge for us, and what that leads us to having, to do is teachers having to differentiate their instruction more so than ever. So that's a part of our regular world, right? We get kids in third grade where you have kids reading on grade level, and you have some kids who are above grade level and some kids who are below grade level.
Right.
That variety is more now than ever. And one teacher with 25 kids has to do a variety of groups to try to get kids where they're at.
All on the same page, so to speak.
Yeah, so to speak. You want to meet them where they're at, so that students, you still have students, of course, who are reading at or above grade level. You've got to meet them. You have an obligation to them. You have some kids that are on grade level, and then you have these, these kids that have a whole variety of gaps, and how do we fill that in? And the teachers are, working hard to fill that in. It's a hard job. If you have, again, third grade teacher, you got kids that are reading chapter books, and we've got other kids who are still learning how to put sounds together to make words.
Yeah.
So the effects of COVID are real, and that's going to be long term. That doesn't get fixed over days or weeks.
Yeah,
it takes
take years. So you're not only seeing this in the Pottstown School District, you are connected with state and national principals organizations, correct?
Yeah.
So I would imagine this isn't a problem in Pottstown. They're seeing this all over the country, right?
Absolutely.
Coast to coast, border to border.
Yeah, all over the country, for sure. And again, the research out there is clear that children that come from lower socioeconomic environments, they have suffered more. They have had more of a struggle with this. So,
because they're already behind the 8 ball, so to speak, right?
Correct. And they're not in a position where, just for example, if you're a little more affluent during, COVID times when we're doing virtual learning, there were parents who might pay someone to come in with a few neighborhood kids and sit and watch and make sure their kids are really engaged. Well, if you don't have the financial means to do that, you're working or you're doing what you need to do and your kids are on virtual learning. It's no fault of anyone. It's just, it's hard to keep kids engaged in learning. And, again, like you said, nationwide, across the state, across the nation, I'm engaged with the state association and the national association and, talked to principals from all over the country this summer at the National Principals Conference, and we're seeing it everywhere. So this is not unique to Pottstown or Pennsylvania.
Right. Yeah, I just want to get that out there because there's a lot of naysayers about Pottstown, and they're going to say, oh, well, this is just everybody else is doing great, and Pottstown just can't get it done. But we know this is a nationwide, probably a worldwide phenomenon, right? They're also probably struggling with these same things in Europe and in Asia, because remember, pandemic means world, so the whole world's kind of set back a little bit, right?
I mean, it's a challenge. Like, we're using still the old standards of what would be expected, but we're in the new paradigm. Like, in my whole lifetime, in many lifetimes, never been anything like this.
Yeah, sure.
So yeah, absolutely. This is not at all unique to us.
Gotcha. Diane Cherry Crumb's asking a good question. I did put it up on the screen. If you're just tuning in, remember we're having a little problem with the camera. So tonight is strictly a podcast. Parents were given a choice of their child repeating the grade they missed. Did any parents choose that option?
So yeah, that was at the state level that was out there. In my experience at Rupert, there was a very small number that felt that was the right choice for their family, and most of them, well, all of them in my particular case, were in the younger grade levels. So, kindergarten, maybe a first grader. I can't speak to the other buildings, but there were a small number that did.
Right. And, along with what you're saying as far as getting kids a head start or getting them back up to speed is, I really want to talk about the Pottstown Peak program, which is the early kindergarten, which again, I think, I'm not sure what the price tag on that is to families. Could you bring us up to speed on that?
That price tag is zero.
It's free.
It's free. So if you live in the borough of Pottstown, there is free 3-year-old and 4-year-old full day programs available. So the Peak program, which is part of the school district, but also community sites. So each of the elementary schools have a 4K program, full day, up to 20 students. And those 20 students, and this is required per part of the program, has 2 adults, a teacher and an assistant. We have a 1 to 10 ratio. So our maximum in the class is 20 in the school district, buildings. Each one of the elementary schools has a program. Mine is full. It's been full, which was great for us because that meant people knew about it and
they got signed up.
But there's still places at other sites. There are community-based sites. There is the North End Early Learning Center, which is right across from Franklin.
Okay.
It has 3 and 4-year-old programs. So they're 3-year-old programs too. Completely free, high quality, instruction and programming. I shouldn't even say instruction because there's
it's school.
It's school for 3 and 4-year-olds, but it's play-based, and we know the importance of play and exploration, and it's fantastic programming that is available to everyone. If you have a child that is not involved in a preschool program, go to the Pottstown School District webpage. You can look up the Peak program, and we can get you. You can enroll now.
I did you better than that. I put a link up on the screen so people can copy it down. I also put a link in the chat so people after our broadcast is over, people can go back into the chat and click right on the link that's going to take them to pottstownpeak.org, where they can go and learn more information and potentially get signed up for any available openings that are left over.
Yeah, and as long as you live in Pottstown, you can get into any of those. Like I said, Rupert's happens to be full, but that if you live next to Rupert, it doesn't mean you can't go. It just means you may have to go to one of the other sites, but that's okay. And then one of the things that is great is the communication and the partnership then in moving into kindergarten after that. The school-based programs, but all of them are connected to the school district so that they're doing the kinds of things that primes them for what kindergarten is like. Doing it at the right age level, because hey, when you're 4, you should be doing 4-year-old stuff, not 5-year-old stuff.
Right.
But getting you to the one of the things I want out of a kindergarten student is, can you play nice with others? Can you sit down on the carpet for what is a reasonable amount of time, which is probably 10 or 15 minutes for a child that age, and listen to the story being read? All those kinds of skills that are hard to do at home if you're not in a group. Those things happen in the Peak program.
And again, so the child is getting the benefit of a jump start in his education. The family is getting the benefit of reduced child care costs, right? Because it's an all-day program, it's free. So mom and dad can go off to work, and not have to worry about paying daycare or paying a babysitter. And then if you couple the Peak program with a whole list of after-school activities that exist around the area, you could really keep a kid busy for the entire time that his parents might be at work. Or other family members, caretakers, whatever the case may be. I get accused of being not inclusive enough in my speech. Whoever the caretakers are can go off to work, conduct their adult business, take care of the family, rest assured that the kid's being well taken care of at the Pottstown Peak program.
And they also offer a whole load of great family engagement opportunities. So, for example, one of the things that they did at the end of last year was supply those folks with a crock pot, groceries, and full list of recipes. And they're also coupling it with classes to help teach you how do you use this new tool, crock pot, to cook your family meals, which for the working family is great.
Oh, that's super.
Yeah.
I use it all the time.
Yeah, I mean, to be able to, for a mom, dad, grandma, grandpa, whoever it is, to, hey, I'm going to put this in the crock pot and go to work, and when we come home, I don't have to worry about making dinner. It's there, is a great thing. So that's just one of the things, but they have a whole lot of other family programs to offer in addition to what's there. And again, for the price tag of
free.
$0.
All right, so we've talked extensively now about the school district. Remember, folks, we're down here at Pottstown United Brewing Company in the 200 block of High Street. It looks like Chief Warrant Officer Mike Murphy tracked us down. I'm not sure if he was in Recon Brigade or not, but he knows how to track. So I'm going to get his mic going because Chief Murphy came down to join us to talk about some things that are going on with the Veterans Island project down there at Memorial Park, a place that you and I know well because we worked there for many years when we were growing up here in Pottstown.
Yeah, the old Rupert Pool.
Chief, you got to talk right into the mic because we got a loud crowd at the Pottstown United Brewing Company tonight. So, Chief, break us off something, sir.
Good evening. How's everybody doing? So on September 24th, we have our big annual event. It's called the Pottstown Veterans Community Day. It will be on Veterans Island, but actually it's a three-part event. It starts with a motorcycle car escort that'll start at the Birdsboro VFW up there on Route 724. So motorcycles, even cars, can start at that point. Reach out to the PD. Trying to realize how it's sort of different this year because the two bridges out on 724 usually come down 724.
Yeah.
Norco Bridge is right over Hannah Street Bridge. But this year, we're going to have to come down 724, take that bridge over to Douglasville, which goes up with the Douglas Burks PD.
Okay.
And then take that first, as soon as you go over the bridge, take that first right and come down, I think it's Reading Pike Road where Dole's used to be.
Yeah.
And then come down there.
So that's West Pottsgrove Police Department.
West Pottsgrove, once they come out, take Glasgow on High Street.
Then you're in
And
Pottstown.
you're in Pottstown, and then you're going to work your way down to the carousel.
Okay.
The reason we're going to the carousel is where there's three honorees every year that are picked. The veterans who served the country. And they're pillars within the Pottstown area. Meaning that they were in volunteering, they were a coach of a Boy Scout, coach of a baseball team, or even a scout leader, just doing some great things in the borough. So these three gentlemen this year will have breakfast there, which will be sponsored by, I believe, Ice House. I could be wrong. But Jamie Sanchez is working on that, and also Pam Tupac.
Okay.
We're working on the breakfast menu.
Yeah, so what Mike's talking about is going to be occurring on September 24th from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. at Memorial Park. You can find that by going, the address that they're giving out is 251 Manatawny Street down at Memorial Park. Everybody should know Memorial Park. You can find it by going to the corner of Manatawny and King Street. If you can't find Memorial Park from there, you might need to go get your eyes checked. Motorcycle ride to kick off the event. Guest speaker, Sergeant Clyde Hawk from the USMC. You got the Glass Tier Hero Award ceremony. I guess those are the folks that you're talking about are being honored for the Glass Tier. Yeah, so we have Calvin Brooks from the United States Marine Corps Edward Conbeer from the United States Navy, and Charles Doherty from the U.S. Navy. I believe Ed Conbeer was probably the father of one of the guys that I went to high school with.
I think he went to Pius.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I know the family.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a good guy.
Yeah. So if you want to go check that out, that's on September 24th, 2022. Starts at 11 o'clock from 1 o'clock at Memorial Park. Now, when does the ride, if you want to do the motorcycle ride and the car ride, that starts previous to
That
this?
starts previous to that. That's going to start. I think it starts stage at 10, like quarter to 10, and then I think they're leaving the Birdsboro VFW 10:15. But additionally to that, with all this is going on, this is the big thing. Everybody calls Memorial Park. There's a little part of the little park that's called the Island. It was actually created and organized by Marsh Bechtel. I'm talking about old man. You could say Mr. Bechtel, not the son who ran Bechtel Sporting Goods.
His father.
He's the one who had the idea about Memorial Park and put memorials down there. The little piece of parcel is called the Island, and it's actually been approved by the borough. Resolution's been put in by Veterans Island Project. That's officially called Veterans Island.
Veterans Island at Memorial Park.
Well, no, it's actually been called Veterans Island.
Right.
So it's approved by the borough. The mayor's going to be there, Stephanie Hendrick, and I believe Mike Lamhart from Park and Recreation is going to be there. There's a new sign unveiling the whole 9 yards.
People should we really have to spread the word about this. And it's so important because I occasionally see some talk on Facebook about people not being happy about the representation of veterans in Pottstown. If you go down there to Veterans Island and take a look around, take a little walk around, if you see all the stuff that Mike and his group are doing down there, you will see that Pottstown does indeed care about their veterans. The memorials are touching, they're moving, they have some interesting things down there. There's interesting history, and it really does highlight the contribution of Pottstown's veterans over the course of every war, basically.
Yeah, right. Yeah. I don't want to sound like it's myself.
No, I know. You're our representative for that
Right.
organization.
The Rotary Club, and there's a lot of civil organizations, just people in general. Hey, Mike, what can we do? One guy, Dennis, comes in and he sprays the weeds. We people come down there and mulch. So it's an ongoing affair because there's a lot of landscape down there between the Vietnam, the Korean, and the World War II memorial.
Right.
So it's a lot of manpower. And the dedication going on. The biggest thing we got going on, and it's kind of like hidden, not people know that we're doing a flyover. We are excited, and we're still taking donations because we got 4. Let me get it right. They're called a Texan. That's an airplane. It's a trainer from 1942. Yeah. Even the Tuscany Airmen, before you got your big real plane, you flew these trainer planes. You always had like yellow wings on them, or blue and gray, whatever. The Navy had them, then also the Army had them. But these things you're going to hear, they're going to be flown by the Jersey Jerks. They're coming out of New Jersey. The reason why I call them Jersey Jerks, there was a major in World War II. He was in Jersey. He named himself the Jersey Jerks. And he had 13 kills during World War II. So there's going to be 4 planes coming in from the east side. And you're going to hear them. And I'm working on having an aviation radio. I'm going to be talking to them with the microphone down the island, bringing them in. When you hear these birds come up, they're going to be 1,000 feet off the deck. You're going to hear them. It's like 3 or 4 Harley Davidson rotors mounted on this prop. They have an open canopy. A lot of horsepower behind it. They're going to do a flyover at 11 o'clock. 11 o'clock, you're going to hear
at the opening of this event.
At the opening of the event. We're going to do a flyover. Then we're going to possibly do smoke, and then we're going to do the missing airmen. That's when they have 3 planes in formation, and one
breaks off.
Breaks off to the side. So we're kind of excited about that. If you're not in the military, but just look at the sky. I mean, when was the last time Pottstown had a real flyover with 1942 aircraft?
Trainers, yeah.
Trainers, yeah.
If you want to learn more about Veterans Island Project, about how you can get involved, or if you want to sponsor the flyover, they're looking for sponsors for the flyover. What did you say? It costs about $1,000 in fuel. Just for each plane costs $1,000 to put into the air.
The plane, the pilot, the mechanics, the hangar, the whole 9 yards.
Yeah. So they're looking for sponsors in order to offset the cost of this flyover. If you're interested in getting involved in Veterans Island Project, I have their contact information up on the screen this entire time we're talking. Again, I also put a link in the chat that's going to take you over to their Facebook page where you can find more information about what's going on. Thanks, Chief Murphy, for coming in and sitting down and talk with us. And I think this is a great time to get into the news and events because we've had request after request after request to keep bringing people news and events. So I know that you brought some stuff. Did you get through your news and events? A lot of your stuff was school district
It's all
related,
school
right?
district stuff. I didn't bring anything specific to the account because you said you were doing
I was going to do that. So we've covered the updates and the news and the events for Pottstown School District as best we could with the time that we have with Mr. Moyer.
Yeah, the only thing we didn't say that I wouldn't highlight that was important, if you don't know, brand new this year, first ever volleyball team in Pottstown.
Oh yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
So I just wanted to highlight that because I think it's awesome, by the way. Volleyball is not something that's been big around this area, but it's growing. And first ever, girls volleyball team had their first match. They have only a couple matches, but one of the things to think about is the folks that are on that team have the opportunity that they made history.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
You only get one first game with the first team to play.
And
you only
they
get
did it.
one first block and first point scored and all. They made history with that. And there aren't a lot of volleyball teams around here. So I'm excited that we were able to put together at Pottstown. They were, because I'm not involved with it.
Remember how much volleyball we used to play in the summer when we were in high school and college, down at the pool and at the park and stuff?
Well, I mean, we have one of the largest grass volleyball tournaments in the country here with the Rumble.
Right.
And so I think it's just fantastic that Pottstown High School has that program. And you start small and it's going to build, but if you get a chance, I think they have 2 more matches coming up. I don't have the dates in front of me right now, but get out and support them. And that goes for any of the programs, the sport programs, obviously Friday Night Lights and football team and so on. But I would be remiss if I didn't bring that up because I thought that was a special thing for those kids and for the school.
No, Matt, I think you hit the nail on the head with that, and it also sets up a perfect segue for some of the news and events that I have because they are related to sports and sports opportunities that are available to kids here in the borough of Pottstown. I'm also going to put a link up to the general Pottstown School District webpage. You can go on that webpage and get links to the sports schedules so that you can go out and support your local sports teams. Maybe you want to go see one of these inaugural volleyball games, like the first time Pottstown plays Pottsgrove in volleyball or whatever the case may be. You can find all the different calendars and links to the sports teams at pottstownschools.org. That's up on the screen. It's also in your chat if you want to link on that. My son plays soccer on the boys soccer team. He's the goalkeeper. Go number 21, Adam Green. And I downloaded an app off of the school district website that gives me an update when his upcoming games are. I get a text message notification the day before every game that he has so that I can open up my schedule to go support Pottstown boys soccer. So head on over there to that link. We have to do, and I was making this point in the last show when we talked about this piece of news and event. We have to encourage our kids here in Pottstown to get involved in sports. We need more kids out on these sports teams. My son Adam is the kicker for the football team. They barely had enough kids come out for football to field a football team. The soccer team is for first time in years, fully staffed. First time in years, they have a full roster for the soccer team. There have been past years where if somebody got hurt on the field, there might only be 1 or 2 replacements on the bench to come in. If you've ever watched a soccer game, these kids run. You need a bench to get your starters a break during the course of the game. I know that over the course of the years, the numbers in sports in Pottstown have fallen. So we got to get our kids back to sports. And here's why. It's more than just competition in the sports. The sports teaches kids skills that they're going to use for the rest of their life. Strategic thinking, winning, the right way, losing the right way, concepts of sportsmanship, teamwork, strategizing, physical fitness. These are all important things that kids are going to use for the rest of their life.
Absolutely, Matt. I mean, I'm glad you mentioned this. One of the things that I think is special about Pottstown is the ability to be involved in multiple things. It's a philosophy for the district. So, a lot of places, if you're in the band, for example, you can't do sports because they won't work together. That's not the way it is at Pottstown. If you're in the band, you can be in the band and still play on the football team.
I've seen that happen. Yes.
And I think that's a special thing. And I agree with you. And the thing that everyone should remember, I have a philosophy as an educator about the importance of sports and the importance of remembering it's not about winning the game. I know that's going to go over poorly with some people maybe, but it's really not, because I want to win as much as the next guy, but sports offer you the opportunity to learn life skills. And most people are never going to go on and do anything more with sports than just play and have fun. Almost no one's going to go be a professional athlete, but the skills you learn, as you mentioned a whole bunch of them, translate in everything in life. Learning how to work as a team and accomplish a common goal, learning how to persevere when things are hard, learning how to overcome obstacles, learning how to, be physically fit. And when I hit what I think is my level, my peak,
push a little bit
further. Yes.
Right.
And that skill translates over into all kinds of other things in life. So, if you have a child who's middle school or high school age, don't let them be afraid to go out for something new. Like I said, the girls volleyball team is brand new, and guess what? There was no middle school volleyball team for those girls to play on. They're coming out, they're being brave and trying something new, and your kid can do that too. And it's okay if they're not the best at it. They might be better the next year and the next year. I was just talking with Matt Fabian, who's my phys ed teacher the other day, who was a really good basketball player and went and played basketball under Sinus for 4 years. He got cut in middle school.
Right.
He got cut in middle school, and he went on to do good things in the sport that he loves. He's not a pro basketball player. That wasn't his goal. But it's okay to not be great at it at first and get better at it. You don't have to be the best at it to start out. But the things you learn through sports are incredible. They meant a lot and still continue to mean a lot in my life. And I'm glad you said it, Matt, because we need more kids out on our sports team. And go out and give it a try. Even if you never played before in your life, don't be afraid to go out and not be good at it.
Yeah.
And that's okay at first.
It might help you understand and realize that you are a better athlete than you think that you really are. The other thing, too, is, and this was a point that I made on the last podcast, is that across the nation, in a lot of sports, not your prime sports like the soccers, the footballs, the basketballs, those scholarships are highly competitive. But there are other sports where they don't have enough athletes coming out to play these sports. I'll give you an example. A friend of mine does work with Shippensburg University. Shippensburg University every year has pole vault scholarships that go unfulfilled because there's not enough pole vaulters. So there's unused scholarships sitting at Shippensburg University only because there's not enough kids going out for pole vault.
And there's no finer state university than Shippensburg University, because that's where I went. So there's no finer, and they have a great track program. They host the state high school track championships every year. So it's an excellent point, Matt, of listen, how do you know if you're any good at pole vaulting?
Unless you try it.
Because the only place to do it is to go out for the high school track team and try it. And you're right.
And guess what? If there's 1,000 pole vault scholarships across the nation, and you're the 501st ranked pole vaulter in the nation, might not be very high ranked, but you're going to get a scholarship. And the only way to do that is to prove to yourself and these colleges that you are a good athlete who's coachable and can learn. Right. And there could be a way for you to get into college.
And you use that as your opportunity to get your college degree.
Right.
You're probably not going to go be a professional pole vaulter, right?
Right.
That's not likely. But you use that to get your college degree, that you then go on to do what it is you want to do in life and have someone else pay or help pay for it. Why not? So
all right.
Totally.
Yeah. So we're getting a lot of we're getting some good feedback from the people watching. Barb Jones Shuck is saying 100%. So let's get to the news. Pottstown Area PAL, it has a fall deck hockey program. It's open for students in any district, ages 4 to 18. So it's in Pottstown, but they don't care what school district or school you come from. So O&J, any of the surrounding school districts, the private schools, your kid goes to St. Al's or PJP, you can still sign up for Pottstown PAL area deck hockey, ages 4 to 18. The sign-ups end tomorrow, September 9th. So if you have somebody in your family who wants to try to get registered for Pottstown PAL deck hockey, the registration ends tomorrow. You can go to pottstownpal.org and learn more about how to get signed up. There's also the Healthy Kids Running Series. The Healthy Kids Run Series was created to motivate kids to lead a healthy and active lifestyle through a positive introduction to the world of running. I sponsor the Boyertown Healthy Kids Running Series, but Pottstown has their own. That program starts on September 11th, so that's going to be coming up next week. Again, you can go to Pottstown, PA at healthykids.org.
And Matt, one of the things about running is a great thing, and you don't have to be the fastest to go do it. You're really competing against yourself. I spent some time running, doing 5Ks and stuff. I'm slow. That's okay. It was about beating my time and being better the next time. And it's an all really individual type thing. And one of the things that's great about running is all you need is a pair of sneakers.
That's right.
You don't need a team. You don't need anything. You just need a pair of sneakers, and you can go out there. You might find real joy in that, and I think that's really important to remember. You may not. I won no races. I never will win a race, except if it was who comes in the slowest. But there's a lot of joy in that, and a lot of fulfillment that people get into that in their life. So it's good stuff.
Here's another one. So we're going to move out of sports, and we're going to move into some of the Vauntnors. Thanks for coming down. From the Rotary, which is a huge supporter of Pottstown. Porchcast Pottstown, always a big shout out to the Rotarians. They've done a lot to support Porchcast Pottstown. We were talking about services for children and families. I have news here from Family Services, which is an organization that serves the Pottstown area. They have a program called 24/7 Dad. It's a program specifically for dads to learn how to be better dads and communicators with their kids. It's 6 weekly sessions starting September 12th through October 17th. If you're interested in learning more about the 24/7 Dad program from Family Services, call 610-326-1610 at extension 331. That's 610-326-1610 at extension 331. That's for the Family Services 24/7 Dad program. We talk a lot about moms. Dad lives matter.
I'm gonna throw one in here.
Yeah, go ahead.
Because you talk about moms and dads, I want to talk about grandparents for a second.
Okay, yeah.
And plug a program that we have a partnership with the Tri-County Active Adult Center. So pre-COVID, we had this program for a few years, and it's getting up and running again. And it's an opportunity for local seniors to get involved and be mentors to kids at Rupert, specifically our third grade kids. So if you know the Tri-County Active Adult Center, it's where the Pottstown Health Club used to be. They have a lot of great programs going on for seniors, by the way. If you've never been there, you should go check it out. But if you're interested in getting involved in mentoring young children, elementary age specifically, this is a third grade program, get in touch with the Tri-County Active Adult Center, and they have an opportunity. It's through the Big Brothers and Big Sisters, believe it or not, and we partner with them once a week, about twice a month, I should say, starting in December or so, and they can get you hooked up with one of our students. It's a great opportunity for our kids to have a mentor. It's also a great opportunity. The mentors love it because when the kids come into that Active Adult Center, it just lights it up, man. And it's a great opportunity. Listen, if you are looking for a way to get smiles on your face, go spend some time with some little kids, and this is a great chance for that. And so, you're a retired senior, check out the Tri-County Active Adult Center, and if you're interested in mentoring ask them about the program through Big Brothers and Big Sisters, and they will get you an application and get you started.
I put a link to their organization up on the screen. It's also in the chat, so either write it down or go back into the chat after the show. Click on the link. It's going to shoot you right over there. Let's talk about the Pottstown area library. Remember, Pottstown Library is a regional library. It is open to the region. That means all the surrounding townships that should be contributing to the library. Some of these townships have decided to cut their funding or not contribute to the library at all. Idiots.
Yeah, I mean, Matt, I was at the library this summer to do a program, and it is a tremendous resource there. So I want to.
How much do a lot of those programs cost, Matt?
Zero.
Free.
And a lot of times, if you're, someone say, well, I don't like to read so much. Listen, first of all, I hope you like to read, but if you don't as much, just know that there's a ton of other great things. They have in the basement for kids. They have these maker spaces for things that you can do with STEAM and engineering activities.
They're having Switch day there. There's one day during the week where your kid can go in there and play his Nintendo Switch with other kids. Yeah. And I was thinking about it after the show. What a great resource. If a kid wants to try a new Switch game, but you don't have the money to buy the latest Switch game, go down there and trade or play with some other kid that might have it at the library. Get into the library. Yeah. Let's talk about some of the services that they provide. You want to go on vacation to Scotland like Amy Wolf is right now? You can go to the library and they'll help you get your passport. Yeah. They have notary services. You need some legal documents notarized? Head on over to the library. So it's more than just reading and books. It's a whole list of services that the community can take advantage of. Why some of these townships refuse to support the library is beyond me. It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, I mean, you need computer, you need to get on the computer, and lots of folks don't have computers these days. They can do lots of things on your phone, but you can't do everything on your phone. Guess what they have at the library?
They have computers.
They have computers you can get on to do those important things. And again, the stuff they have for kids for free, programs, authors that come in, and activities and games. And when you go down to that children's section, in addition to a ton of great children's books, some written by that local author, me, but also, a lot of other activities, like I said, like the maker spaces and activity kits that you can actually pick up and check out and take home and do with your child together as a family for free.
All right, the Pottstown Area Writers Group meets at the Pottstown Regional Public Library. They meet the second and fourth Wednesday of every month at 6 o'clock in the library mezzanine. If you are a writer or an aspiring writer and you want to go get some tricks and tips and maybe some inspiration from other local writers, the Pottstown Area Writer Group meets every second and fourth Wednesday at 6 o'clock in the library mezzanine. Maybe the chief warrant officer needs to go over to help write him some copy about Veterans Island Project. Who knows, Mike? They can help you write better.
I know how to write a paper.
You know how to write a paper.
Listen, Matt, I'm going to tell you,
Did you ever go to the library? You had to. You've been in there.
I went to Montgomery County Community College.
Right.
Did my bachelor's of science for me at Southern University during COVID. So I did a lot of online courses.
Right.
If I could do it, anybody could do it.
Right. Mosaic Community Land Trust is planning their fall garden tour. If you want to take the fall garden tour, go over to Mosaic Community Garden. You can find them on Facebook or on Google just by plugging in Mosaic Garden or Mosaic Community Garden. It looks like there's going to be different artists' works for sale. The tour attendees will be notified in advance of the starting point in Pottstown on the day of the tour. Attendees will receive garden description and a map for the day. You are free to visit any of the gardens during the 5-hour period they are open. Tickets are $20 in advance, $25 the day of the tour. Ages 16 and under are $10. Tour and lunch ticket is $50. And I believe that the lunch this year is being provided by Welcome to the Avenue, which is a really great Caribbean restaurant down in the 100 block of High Street. So if you're interested in learning more about the Fall Garden Tour, go over to Community Land Trust or Community Mosaic Community Garden. You can search either one of those and find out more about the Mosaic Garden Tour. Last but not least, and we're coming down towards the end of the show, tomorrow, Friday, September 9th, Urban Guerrilla Orchestra at Rivet. So where the New York store is, there's now a live music venue called Rivet. Rivet Canteen and Assembly. Rivet is spelled Rivet. If you type Rivet into your Google or Facebook browser, this place is going to pop up. It's in the old New York store. Tomorrow night at 9 o'clock, they're having the Urban Guerrilla Orchestra. Tickets are $20 in advance, $25 the day of the show. Doors open at 7:30. Show starts at 8. Food is available until 9:30. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, the pub, Pottstown United Brewing Company, is supplying the food to Rivet Canteen and Assembly. So if you're interested in checking out some live music right here in Pottstown, go check them out tomorrow, 9 o'clock. Tomorrow, September 9th, 7:30, Urban Guerrilla Orchestra live at Rivet.
Very cool venue. Really neat.
Can I put a quick plug in?
Yeah, plug.
So if you missed the car show this weekend, my favorite fan, and I remember that at Red Horse Motoring Club. If you missed it, you missed an awesome show. I mean, I wasn't in town, but heard they were rocking
It
and
was.
rolling down
I
there.
came on Saturday, Mike. This place was packed. I mean, we keep saying it's the biggest one we've ever seen. This past weekend was unbelievable.
Well, Jamie Orr, he brought people over from Europe, from Canada.
That was the Sunday show, right?
No, he was here.
They were here Saturday and
Actually, it was a
Sunday.
4-day event.
Was
They
it?
had a social at Red Horse on Thursday night, and then they had an open house there at Jamie on Friday night. Then they had like a little mini car show Saturday, I think from like 11 to 3, and then they all the Volkswagens caravan down the High Street for the 4 to 9 o'clock show. And then on Sunday, they had another show.
From 10 to
because
6.
They actually had 2 cars that were never seen in any public eye.
Yes.
And they unveiled them
Right here in
right here in the
downtown
middle,
Pottstown.
down there in the middle
So
of
you're
Main
talking
Street.
about more firsts. That will
Yeah.
never, ever happen again, but it happened for the first time right here in Pottstown. So things are moving.
So what I want to say was, with the approval of the borough, we have one more. It's going to be a car cruise October 1st, which then end up being a car show anyway. People are going to be parking along the street. But that day, we're going to be doing a fundraiser for Veterans Island down in Red Horse. If you have your car, hot rod, even your day driver, you're actually going to be able to drive it into Red Horse. If you've been in there yet, come down and check it out. Joe Lowe's Motors. All these neon signs in there from back in the 50s and the 60s. Old gas pumps. And Jerry Kiefer is going to sponsor it and take a photo of your car inside a Red Horse.
Yeah,
So
you
that's
guys
more-
done that
Yeah,
before.
this will be the second year we did it. But it's also a way to do an open house at Red Horse. Everybody come down and check it out. It's a beautiful place, and they're doing fabulous things here in Pottstown.
Yeah, they're getting a lot of people coming in and interested in Pottstown. That's at the Red Horse Motoring Club. A lot of people will know that. It's the former Ludwig's Motors at the corner of 3rd and Hanover Street. Guess what I did, Matt Moyer? Guess what I did, Chief Murphy? I put the link up on the screen and in the chat box.
I don't think I can count the number of times you've said that in the last 60 minutes.
Am I trying to make it clear to people that we're trying to get them right to the front door of these places? So yeah, if you want to go check out what's going on at Red Horse Motoring Club and at least throw them a little bit of love and support, because they are literally bringing thousands of people into the borough of Pottstown. That's not a stretch of the
And
imagination.
another great venue, renting out for parties and whatnot, and they're doing a lot of good things. So,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Support local business. That's all I have, folks. So I'm going to start breaking down to the end of the show. Remember, this is Porchcast Pottstown. We are news, updates, and conversation for Pottstown and the surrounding communities. If you would like to come on Pottstown, Porchcast Pottstown, please link up with us at pottstownreports@gmail.com. You can reach out to me, Matt Green at Glocker Real Estate. You can reach out to Amy Wolf on Facebook. We are easy to find. It is super easy to get on the show. If you're like Chief Murphy, you just show up and we turn on the microphone for you. So that's one way to get on the show. Another way is just to send us an email or a phone call. We'll get you on the show to talk about your local business or the organization that you are involved in and how it's contributing to the borough of Pottstown. Questions, comments, and critique can also be put on to us at pottstownreports@gmail.com. If you have a question, a comment, critique, you want to talk, other than Matt is ugly, Matt Green is ugly, or Matt Moyer is ugly, sorry, there's nothing we can do to help you.
Yeah, I mean, as I said, it's got a face that's made for radio, so I think the fact that there's no visual
Tonight.
is a benefit to all the listeners today.
If you have other critiques other than our looks, please lay them on us over at pottstownreports@gmail.com. Don't forget to subscribe at YouTube. YouTube is the better platform for watching the show later on. Like if you need to catch a rerun or you want to go back and write down a number or a piece of information that I said on the show, the best place to do that is on Porchcast Pottstown on YouTube. If you go to YouTube, just type into the YouTube search bar, Porchcast Pottstown. We're the only one. We pop right up. It's free to subscribe. Free is a theme that keeps running through the show. It's free to subscribe. You'll see not all of our past episodes, but a good bit of the past episodes. I'm also hosting a contest for the people who subscribe over at YouTube. I'm going to have a raffle with the names of the people that have subscribed at YouTube, and I'm going to give out a nice prize because we have surpassed 150 subscribers over on YouTube. So hopefully try to help us get to 200 subscribers on YouTube. Remember, we like your likes, we like your shares, we like your comments. Thanks for tuning in. Tonight's co-host in Amy's absence has been Matt Moyer, principal at Rupert Elementary, an award-winning principal right here in Pottstown School District. Thanks for coming on the show, Matt.
It is my pleasure. I'm looking forward to being back next week. And for those who weren't here earlier, we will have the new principal of Pottstown Middle School, Hector Longia, with us next week to talk all about that, as well as myself to talk about whatever we're going to talk about.
And I'll be here. And I'll be here too.
Hopefully with the camera that works.
Yeah, I got to figure out what went wrong with the camera, man. We might have done some damage.
It fell to the ground.
Yeah. Chief Murphy, Mike Murphy with Veterans Island Project. One of the, what is your position over there? Vice President or something?
Yes, sir.
Vice President of the Veterans Island Project stopped by to let us know about his event that's going on September 24th. Remember, there's plenty of links up in the chat to get yourself hooked up with the folks over at Veterans Island Project. Mike Murphy is our local veterans liaison. Thank you for fulfilling that role here on Porchcast Pottstown.
Thanks for inviting me, and remember to come down and check us out September 24th down there at the island. Or if not, just look up in the sky and look at the beautiful four planes. Thank you.
No problem. My name is Matt Green. I am your local real estate expert. Please call me if you need help selling or buying residential and commercial properties in Pottstown and the surrounding areas. That means Chester, Berks, and Montgomery counties. We are Porchcast. Let's talk soon.